What's good? That's what you're about to bring you that Chandelure Meta Gross extravaganza real quick, son. So let's start things off with my cleffer. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice, but I have a bit of a cold, so I'm just gonna try to do this as best I can in my my exciting voice or whatever like that. As you guys get a cold, your voice tends to suffer from that. Anyway, he's gonna start things off with the Weasel, and then played Team Rocket's Trickery, as well as putting Magikarp on his bench. Forces me to kind of discard our energy, because I kind of feel like I need everything else in my hand. I have like another energy. Top it off, I have an Oak in my hand, so it's not necessarily too bad that I will lose one psychic energy right off the bat. But I could just play I'm sorry, not Professor Oak, but Pokemon Communication out for basic Pokemon. Hence Beldum, which will allow my future Chandelures, once my Beldum is fully evolved, in order to switch out without having to pay any kind of energy recharge, which is great. I could just keep on doing the Chandelure's Pokeball without having to worry about if I have like switches or anything like that in order to continue doing the Pokepower that I will potentially have in the future. Anyway, in comes the Magikarp, right? And my Beldum's on the bench, just checking everything out. This happens to be the not so good liquid that everybody's talking about. The one that everybody's after is the is the Clawfoot family. If you guys can hear this stuff in my voice, I'm thinking about just probably going out to Lickwick and then afterwards using its attack. I mean, it won't necessarily do anything since Weasel is equipped currently with the Eval Light, but I thought it'd be pretty funny, just to do a double switch without actually playing any trainer cards. Don't ask me why. Anyway, for his turn, he starts off with the Chatter, which allows him to draw 3 cards, as well as evolving his Weasel into a Float. So after putting Psyduck on the bench, attaches a Water Energy thanks to Floatzel's Pokepower ability, as well as a Rescue Energy, takes out my Cleffa, and I'm in an early bind. It's like, jeez Christ, I didn't even expect you to fully evolve you guys, but then I wasn't necessarily too worried because I do have a catcher in my hand. Luckily for me, I drew into another one, able to catch her out into the Psyduck, as well as play Pokemon Communication. Let's see if I could get 3 guys going here. Initially thinking about going for 3 Litwicks, but I decided to change my mind a little bit, deciding that Clef was a little bit more important. I could definitely shuffle out my hands, being that he is more set up than I am. He does have a Floatzel on the bench now for Rescue Energy and some energies, things like that, as well as any potential water energies that he might draw during the upcoming turns. He can just like stack them on whatever Pokemon he decides to. So it's a bit scary for my situation here. Decide to communication out to a Lampit to try to get one of my Chandelures going. Maybe I can get some confusion hats, as well as some additional damage counters going on. I do have a secondary catcher, which it won't necessarily make sense playing at the moment. Probably want to leave Beldum there to die or something like that. But I completely forget about Psyduck's attack, which initially, if he flips a coin and gets the heads, he'll be able to do 30 damage to one of my Pokemon, potentially the Cleffa. Being that Cleffa has 30 HP, he'll be able to take that out and I'll be in a bind. So I have to be very wary of that. Decide to evolve my Lampit into a Chandelure, as well as attach the energy onto my active Pokemon, the Beldum. I kind of want to leave the Psyduck in there, thinking about probably just switching out into Cleffa there, using Beldum's attack, which does 10 damage, as well as giving me the option to switch into one of my bench Pokemon, hence the Cleffa. So as long as he doesn't necessarily evolve his Pokemon, which I actually spoke a little bit too soon, since he has the Golduck in his hand thanks to the Professor Elm, able to attach a Water Energy onto the Golduck, and being that Golduck's Pokepower allows it to recover 10 HP, to recover all that damage that I just did with the Beldum, as well as be able to take out my Cleffa. In comes my Chandelure, able to attach another energy to Chandelure, which enables it to do its attack, but not after targeting the Weasel in the background. I mean, 10 energy, recovering 10 energy, 10 health, potentially with every energy that you can attach onto Golduck is kind of threatening, but not as threatening as that Floatzel that he has in the back. Excuse me, I keep saying Weasel, but yeah, I have to get rid of that Floatzel as soon as possible. I figure I can attach 2 energies onto the Golduck, as well as do something to attack the Eerie Glow, which will inflict 50 damage onto it, hoping that I'll get the burn, which inflicts another 20 damage onto the Golduck, taking it out. But unfortunately, first turn, that is not going to happen, as he gets a heads, draws another card, and I'm staring right down there with a Golduck able to recover HP thanks to him playing not 1, but 2 potions. So that really made me upset. So I was looking at that, I was like, wow. Plays the copycat in my mind, which is a little bit weird, but I guess he doesn't necessarily have anything else in his in his hand here. I guess maybe hoping for a shuffle. Unfortunately for me, he does breakthrough confusion, enabling him to get off a free attack for 80 damage. That's a hell of a lot. And if this was a simulator, my Chandelure would have bit the dust, being that fire Pokemon are obviously weak against water. I play Pokemon Collector, get access to three to 3 basics, being that, you know, I want to thin out my deck a little bit more, maybe get a Metang or something like that, or another rare candy into a Metagross and or another Chandelure. I need something going instead of all these other basic Pokemon. I have like a Chandelure with a massive amount of number of hit points taken away from it. I'm gonna start to work on his back row, targeting the Floatzel, because that's the main thing, like I said earlier, a little bit worried about. But then the bright side to this is that he only has 1 card in his hand, but then, you know, something that could change. He didn't necessarily play 3 Professor Oaks as of yet, and any good deck builder, you know, kind of has replacements, can top deck as much as anything at the right given moment. Fortunately, he's able to get the burn, and which enables me to take it out. Now he brings in the flow, so it's going to be a definite kill since it's not confused. It comes in free 60 damage, which takes out my Chandelure, and I'm kind of back where I kind of started, you know. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring in the Beldum with one one energy attached onto it. Gonna attach the Metang that I have in my hand onto the Beldum, which enables it its initial attack, enables it to get 2 energies from my graveyard, hence the Chandelure and my other Litwick. I believe Litwick died a little bit earlier on in this video. I get 2 energies from my discard pile and attach it onto my active Pokemon, enabling it next turn in order to do its double leg hammer attack when it fully evolves into a Metagross. So here's the Metang, right? I'm thinking about maybe I should probably attach it to one of the black Pokemon, but you know, that's kind of a mistake. Decide to catch out into the Breezel that he has there, not necessarily being able him to play another Floatzel in his hand. He doesn't necessarily have a Floatzel, so that's actually a good move. Don't necessarily want to take out the Breezel as of yet. I mean, obviously he just like played another Tentacruel, so it's not like, okay, I could take out the Breezel and then the Floatzel, and you know, that'll be good game since he doesn't necessarily have another thing on his bench, but he plays another Pokemon. I'm staring at this Floatzel again, which actually forces him early on, since Breezel does have a retreat cost as opposed to Floatzel not having a retreat cost, enables him to waste the energy, which is great. He won't necessarily have that energy to suffice or pay a sufficient cost, enabling him to do an attack. But unfortunately for me, in comes the Floatzel. As well as him being able to get a Professor Elm's training method, enabling him to attach Tentacruel onto Tentacruel. So fortunately, I top deck a Professor Oak. Oh my goodness, you have no idea how happy I was to see that card. Get a switch, you know what I'm saying, get a Pokemon communication out, as well as a twins, being that I do have more prizes. I could probably twins out for twins out for a Chandelure and a rare candy next turn, which I could probably use the switch or something like that, and or probably just switch out, being that Metagross's Pokepower, like I stated earlier, enables free switches without me having to pay retreat costs, as long as the Psychic Pokemon is holding Psychic energies. Gonna take the time to work on my back row a little bit, being that my Metagross has taken sufficient amount of damage. I can play the switch. It doesn't necessarily make sense at the moment, but a turn earlier you saw me use the double leg hammer attack. I was thinking that it would do 40 damage to 2 targets that I pick, hence one of the active Pokemon. I kind of wanted to knock out the Floatzel as well as attack the Breezel that he has in the back row, but it doesn't work that way. It's 2 Pokemon on the bench, so I kind of messed up there. I'm trying to save my Metagross for a little bit later on. I could probably use it, you know, to inflict 40 damage as well as the 60 damage from its initial attack. Decide to attach 2 psychic energies that I have in my discard pile onto the Metang. So I'm thinking about maybe I should probably get Red Candy and Metagross again. I'm not exactly sure, but I do have those options here. I have another psychic energy. I do have the Metang, which is able to evolve into Metagross. Hence me, if I draw a Pokemon and a Pokemon communication, and or the other Metagross that I have left over in my deck. But I kind of want to focus on the Chandelure because that will increase the amount of damage output that I could potentially put on his Pokemon, whether it be on the bench or whatever. So what I decided to do, attach the last psychic energy that I have in my hand, as well as get twins, which will enable me to get the Chandelure rare candy, attach it onto the Litwick that I just attached the psychic energy onto, which is great. Can switch out the Metagross, attack one of his back row Pokemon for 30 damage. I think maybe targeting the Tentacruel a little bit, as well as probably attacking the Floatzel that he has, and I could probably use Metagross's ability, knock out the Pokemon, but he decides he sees all that and decides to quit. So that was definitely a great game. Viewers, again, do not forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Definitely had a lot of fun, and peace. What you doing? Kind of sick. Peace.